Welcome back, Commander.
Welcome
You
back,
have no
Commander.
missions at this time. Has granted you access to great blueprints. You are near Blue through Echo Bravo Whiskey Charlie 1
Okay,
0
you have me at your disposal. Now, what do you plan on doing with me? I'm talking about ship's commands before you get any funny ideas.
Frameshift drive charging.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Blue
Sorry about that. I did a grumpy and left my microphone on mute.
This is your first visit to this system.
How's it going, guys? Ooh, binary system.
Completing system scan. Stand by. Gathering information. Cartography has now been updated.
System scan complete.
Oh, let's go between the two and do the fuel scoop. I'm a little earlier than usual, so I figured, why not stream for a little while. Engage FSD.
Frameshift
Engaging drive.
And I've left the starting soon blurb up on there too. There we go, let's fix that problem.
Entry guidance computations
progress.
complete.
Grey Wanderer 3 is in transit to the Blue through a Tango Golf Juliet Delta 10-1 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Lights on.
Fuel levels now at 92%.
Scanning now.
fuels complete. System scan complete.
Two quick ones in a row. Oh, look, the sun's waving.
Affirmative.
Fuels complete.
Grey Wanderer 3 is now at maximum fuel capacity.
I shall return momentarily. I've got a cat being rather insistent at the front door. Won't be long.
Okay.
That's already done. You're welcome, Commander.
And I'm back again, sorry about that. So basically what I'm doing is looking for something interesting to have a look at. And it's nice being out in the black and all, but it's awfully black.
Entry guidance computations complete.
Destination confirmed. Grade Wanderer 3 is heading to the Blue Through Lima November-Sierra Charlie 20-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Engage.
Scanning.
16 bodies remain to be scanned.
Ah, finally something with some interest.
Grey Wanderer 3 is now at 100% fuel capacity.
Now, whereas Warlord likes to turn off his fuel scoop and run nearly dry before he starts scooping again, in the Beluga, given that I've got a Class 6 fuel scoop and 128 tons of fuel capacity, that's not always a good idea. Better to keep topped up. Anyway, time to see what's around. Could be interesting. And it is. Waterworld.
Planet Alpha 4 is notable, with abundant liquid water.
Oh, and there's one more.
Planet Alpha 3 is remarkable, with terraformable conditions and abundant liquid water.
2 out of 2. Yeah, that's pretty boring.
Moon Alpha 1 Alpha is notable, with an extremely inclined orbit.
Icy worlds.
Planet Bravo 7 is notable, with an extremely elliptical and incredibly inclined orbit.
High metal content.
Planet Alpha 6 is notable, with an incredibly high surface temperature of just over 391 Kelvin. Planet Alpha 2 is notable, with potential for terraforming.
Systems
Moon Alpha 2 Alpha is a notable rocky body with an unusually inclined orbit.
Alrighty.
Bodies Alpha 2, Alpha 3 and Alpha 4 are recommended mapping candidates.
We might as well do Alpha 1 and Alpha 1A while I'm there. Three-quarter impulse.
3/4 impulse.
Crew command roster. Rotate the watch.
Very well.
That's affirmative, Commander.
As you wish.
Certainly.
On it like a car bonnet.
Affirmative, Commander.
I love it when a keyboard command doesn't work. Rotate the watch.
Of course. Yes, Commander. Understood.
Affirmative. Very well. Very well.
See if we can get away with just 2 probes. If you engineer your probes for greater range, you very rarely go over your efficiency target.
surface scanned by 50%.
11 geological surface signals detected.
Scan complete.
Surface map is finished. Efficiency bonus granted. Body A1AM is a low-gravity tidal locked rocky body that is suitable for landing. This planet shows signs of volcanism, with active iron magma flows. Bodies Alpha 2, Alpha 3 and Alpha 4 are also good candidates for mapping.
And there you are. Six, so we're going to go for the tetrahedron.
Cancel.
Surface scanned by 50%.
There we go.
Surface scan complete.
Surface map is now finished. Efficiency bonus granted. Body A1 is a low-gravity high-metal content world that is unsuitable for landing. Bodies Alpha 2, Alpha 3 and Alpha 4 are also recommended candidates to map.
Check this one. Alright, it's got iron magma. I've already scanned those in this area, so there's no point in scanning them again. Time to head for Alpha 2. Oh, Alpha 3's closer. We'll go there. Yeah, it's going to take a while for me to get to where I got to go. So I'll just keep restream chat on so that I don't miss anything. There we go, now I won't inadvertently miss anybody's chats. Alright, 6 probes, tetrahedron again.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan
Mapping is finished. Efficiency bonus granted. Body A3 is a medium gravity tidal locked water world that is unsuitable for landing. Bodies Alpha 2 and Alpha 4 are also recommended candidates for mapping.
There's Alpha 2. And there's Alpha 4. Over that side. So it'll work well. Tell me something interesting. No. Tell me a random fact. Sun slowing us down. Hello, goodbye. That's where we're off to next. So, Alpha 2 Alpha looks like it's on this side, so we'll select that. No, we won't. Go for the main planet first. Drop to 0. Activate the scanner. Hello there, little yellow potato. 4 probes, should be able to get it done in 2.
Map is now finished. Efficiency bonus awarded. Body A2 is a medium gravity high metal content world that is unsuitable for landing. Body Alpha 4 is also a good candidate to map.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm heading next.
Surface scan.
Surface map is now finished. Efficiency bonus awarded. Body A2AM is a low-gravity tidal locked rocky body that is unsuitable for landing. This planet
Okay.
shows signs of volcanism.
07
with high levels of
is
active
a
silicate
person's
magma
head
flows.
with their arm up giving a salute.
Body Alpha 4 is also a good
So
candidate
the O
for
is the
mapping.
head and the 7 is the arm bent at the elbow. Unfortunately, there's not a backwards 7, so it means that we're all saluting with our left hand instead of the right. So we salute like Cub Scouts do. Mind you, if you're saluting with your left hand, you could always get your right hand on your las pistol. That's a different kind of salute, Don the Basso. No, I'm not going to get it. It's going to be close, but no cigar. Yeah, we're trying to get our space exploration badges. Well, there was one group of people that aren't particularly well liked that used to salute like that.
Map is finished. Efficiency bonus granted.
One arm
Body
straight
A4
out.
is a medium gravity tidal locked water world that is unsuitable for landing. You have mapped all worthwhile bodies.
Off to the next system. Now, Warlord's going to be annoyed because I didn't map every single planet, but I'm sort of in a bit of a hurry to catch up to everybody else. Well done.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the blue through a Papa Tango Quebec Charlie 21-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
So which character is that one?
Temperature critical.
Scanning now.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Fuel at maximum. 15 bodies remain to be scanned.
There's always a will and a way. Alright, what do we got here? Icy bodies and 1 high metal content. Let's see if it's interesting at all. Oh, no, it's not even high metal content. Yes, it is. That's the icy ones. There it is. Tiny little ones, comparatively speaking.
Moon Alpha 7 Alpha is a notable icy body with an extremely inclined orbit. Body Alpha 7 Alpha has high levels of carbon.
In case anyone's wondering, in Australia we are in the middle of a heat, well, at the beginning of a heat wave, where I am at least. Later on this week we're looking at 36 to 38 degrees, and it's not even summer yet.
System scan complete.
Next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
So what's the weather like over in California at the moment? I know it's still yesterday there, but
Destination confirmed.
actually it might not be
Grey
yesterday
Wanderer 3
still.
is heading to the blue through a Whiskey Mike Dash Hotel Delta 11-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Maximum velocity. Okay.
Yep, so it's this morning.
Temperature critical.
Fuel levels now at 90% capacity.
Engaging
Commander.
exit protocols. Scanning.
That's why Sussex are always ahead at the time.
Brown dwarf Charlie is notable, relative to similar class Lima brown dwarfs, with higher than average density.
Yeah, well, later this week it'll be getting up to about 90, 98 roughly.
You're welcome, Commander.
Didn't think there was anything to look at.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so it's going to be around 98 on, I think it's Friday today, Friday this week. With overnights in the, from memory, about the mid 50 to 60s. Oops, not going fast enough.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the blue through a Whiskey Foxtrot Dash November Charlie 2-3-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Engaging exit protocol.
Grey Wanderer 3's fuel
I know
levels now
zero
at
is
90%.
32, and it's roughly 2 degrees difference.
Scanning for information.
Brown dwarf Charlie is interesting, with an unusually high solar radius at 0.38 times sols and high brilliance. 3 out of 34 bodies have been scanned.
Yeah, this is a bigger one.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Probably in ammonia world, I wouldn't be lucky enough to get an Earth like. There we go. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
Planet Bravo Charlie tree is notable, with an extremely high surface temperature of just over 585 Kelvin. Planet Bravo Charlie 4 is notable, with an incredibly high surface temperature of nearly 456 Kelvin.
Yeah, lots and lots of asteroids. We don't want them. They're just annoying. Yeah. Gas giants.
Planet Bravo Charlie 5 is a remarkable Class 1 gas giant with an unusually high mass at well over 405 times Earth's and a pristine icy ring.
Now, generally speaking, I don't bother mapping gas giants. I know I should, but when they're this far out, I really don't see the point. Somebody else can waste 20
This body
probes
contains
doing
high
it.
levels of carbon. Body Bravo Charlie 5 Delta contains large
I
deposits
mean,
of
if there
carbon.
was something new to find on them,
Body Bravo Charlie 5 Charlie
would
has
map
large
them.
deposits of carbon and selenium.
especially the water-based and
Body Bravo Charlie 5 Foxtrot
water
contains large
and
deposits of carbon.
ammonia-based
Body
life-containing
Bravo Charlie
ones.
5 Golf has high levels of carbon.
If you could maybe target a bloom or something along those lines. But since we can't do that yet, I don't really see the point.
Planet Bravo Charlie 6 is interesting, with an unusually high mass at over 564 times Earth's and a pristine icy ring. Body Bravo
Yes,
Charlie
but it's
6
not
Bravo
interesting
contains
enough to
large
get me
deposits
money.
of carbon. This body has high levels of carbon.
And if the Thargoids were nesting in gas planets with ammonia-based life in their upper atmosphere, then maybe it might be worth
This body has
looking
high
at
levels of
something.
carbon and selenium. This body has large deposits of carbon
Oh,
and
look.
selenium. This body
My
has large
wife was
deposits of
not
carbon.
happy with me earlier today.
Planet Alpha 2 is a notable high
There was a
metal
rather
content world
violent
with an
gas
extremely elliptical
explosion
orbit. Planet Alpha
from
3 is a
the,
notable high metal content
general
world with
rear
an extremely
direction.
elliptical orbit.
And unfortunately, she was standing behind
Planet
me
Alpha 1
at
is a
the
notable
time.
high metal content world with terraformable conditions.
She was
Body
definitely
Alpha 1
not
Alpha
pleased.
contains high levels of arsenic.
No, I blame her. Where did I miss one? No, it's not behind the sun. This is a good thing. Not in amongst that lot. There it is.
System scan complete.
Bodies Alpha 1 and
Right,
Bravo
let's have a
Charlie
look.
2 are
Where are
good candidates to
BC
map.
at? 20,000 light seconds. No, can't be bothered. Next, jump, full speed, please.
Charging.
So fast travelling, you just don't
Destination
start
confirmed.
again.
Grey Wanderer
Fast
3 is in
travelling, you
transit to
don't
the Blue
bother
Blue Alpha Tango
advocating.
Dash Foxtrot Delta 12
Activating.
2 system.
Why do I keep saying
This is your
advocating?
first visit to this system.
If you're fast travelling, you don't bother activating the FSS. You just jump, scan while you're fuel scooping, and then go to the next system. But that's only going to get you around the 10 to 15,000 per system, depending on how many stars there
Star
are.
Bravo is
It
notable.
could be
with
somewhat
high
less or a little
intensity.
bit more.
As you can see, it emits an orange-red
You
light.
get nothing for any of their planets.
2 out of 20 bodies have been scanned in this system.
To make a reasonable amount of
Grey
credits,
Wanderer 3 is
not
now
a lot,
fully refueled.
but some, you do at least need to activate the FSS. You can get fairly proficient at it. I find keyboard and mouse to be pretty quick. I have had people say that it's quicker to use some other methods, but I haven't found one yet, partly because I've only ever played with keyboard and mouse.
This
And when I
body
look at
contains
other
large
people
deposits of
scanning,
carbon
they're
and
usually
selenium.
slower than I am.
Body Bravo 3 contains
Not
high levels
always.
of selenium.
Whoop.
body has high
Because
levels
the
of
thing is,
selenium.
with keyboard and mouse, you can be very
Blue Bravo
precise.
2 Alpha is notable, with an extremely inclined orbit.
And I've got my keyboard and mouse controls set up basically the same way as what my flight controls are. Except that I don't
Body
need to
Alpha
worry
7 Alpha
about
has high levels of time and
rotation.
selenium.
So the mouse is instead set to pitch and yaw when doing the FSS.
Moon Alpha 9 Alpha is a notable icy body with an incredibly inclined orbit.
And there's another one there, and that will be the last one.
System scan.
And we're off to the next one.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I've got about 70 jumps to go, 72 to go.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is en route to the Blue Thua Bravo Oscar Foxtrot Delta 12-2 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Temperature critical.
Yeah,
Scanning for information.
the Beluga is not a fast traveller. No, it never will be, unless they change the way FSDs work. But it is an excellent explorer. And the reason for that is, if we look over in the modules. Alright, I'm currently running a planetary vehicle hangar, which I've just turned off. Class 6 fuel scoop. Fighter hangar. I've still got space for Super Cruise Assist if I want to use it. And all the other little bits and pieces, including repair and fuel limpets, auto field maintenance units, and even a frameshift wake scanner. Not that that's really much use while you're exploring, but hey, I had the space, why not put it in? Also, whoop, what do I want to do? That one. This thing just looks nice. It's bloody huge. I mean, park it next to an anaconda, and the anaconda seems to shrink in size. Just do a slow loop. And you can see why I say looking like a Thunderbird. Yeah, tell me that does not look like Thunderbird 2. Isn't she pretty? Alright, time to get back in the cockpit because I'm spinning out of control. Anyway, off to the next system. But the best thing about this, I mean, it's got all these slots and everything, but the best thing is, with 128 tons of fuel, I can make about 11 jumps between refueling, which means if I've got a bunch of stars, which I can't refuel at, I can cover in the vicinity of about 600 light years between having to refuel. Now that's nothing to sneeze
Engaging
at.
exit.
And that's not counting neutron jumps. If I want to add neutron jumps, I can do basically 10 in a row between fueling.
Star Alpha is notable, with an unusually old age of well over 12.5 billion years. As you can see, it emits a yellow-white light. 9 bodies remain to be scanned in this system. Grey Wanderer 3 is now fully refueled.
So whereas the Anaconda may be able to jump up to 300 and... got it to 340 light years on a completely stripped down fast travel Anaconda. To do that, they basically get 1 neutron jump. That's it. Then they've got to refuel. So if they're jumping from a neutron star to a star that doesn't have fuel scooping available, they're done. if they ever introduce science science modules, I think the
I'm
Beluga is
here.
going to be the king of them. It's also faster when turning and a lot more manoeuvrable than an Anaconda can be.
This body contains high levels of carbon.
Metal content worlds. They're all around Star B, which if Star B is too far away, I'm not even going to bother looking at, even though I do like to scan the ammonia worlds when I get the chance. Get rid of the asteroids, so they don't bother me anymore. Yeah, so everything is around Star B.
System scan complete.
Body Bravo 5 is a good mapping
Which is
candidate.
12,000 light seconds away. Next.
Frameshift drive charging.
Next time I get a landable planet within 100 to 200 light seconds, I'll go and land this thing on there and have a look if there's any geological sites to look at.
Stand by.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Blue through a Hotel Yankee-Hotel Charlie 26-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Oh, and the other thing is, of course, the Beluga, to kit it out, is much, much cheaper than what it is for a Anaconda.
Scanning now.
Star Alpha is notable, with higher than average density. As you can see, it emits a yellow-orange light.
Fuel scooping complete. System
Refueled.
complete.
Okay, 5 bodies, of which all are asteroids, suns. So, nothing to see here.
Frameshift drive charging.
Entry guidance computations
Telemetry
complete.
obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is in transit to the Blue through a Foxtrot uniform Delta Delta
Now,
13
this little
0
blurb
system.
that I'm getting
This is
between
your first
star
visit to this
systems
system.
is actually Eddie, EDDI, giving me a brief rundown of what's going on. It warns me if there's a neutron star or a non-scoopable star or any of those sorts of things, so I know what to look out for
Scanning.
if I'm paying attention. Sometimes that's not the
20
case.
bodies remain to be scanned.
Alright, line up with the next system and see
Grey
if there's
Wanderer 3's
anything
fuel tanks
interesting.
at 98% capacity.
Ice planets and gas giants. Probably not. No rings on this one.
This body contains high levels of sulfur, carbon and phosphorus. Body 5 Alpha has large deposits of carbon and selenium. Body 5 Charlie contains large deposits of carbon. This body contains large deposits of sulfur, carbon and phosphorus.
Oh, rigged one.
Planet 8 is an exceptional icy body with an unusually high mass at 8 times Earth's, an incredibly large radius of over 14,000 kilometers, and pristine metal-rich and icy rings. Body 6 Bravo
Rich and
contains
icy,
large
that's
deposits of
unusual
carbon.
for an icy planet.
Planet 7 is a notable icy body with an unusually high radius of well over 11,000 kilometers. Moon 6 Charlie is notable, with an extremely oblong orbit. Body 6 Charlie contains high levels of carbon and selenium. Moon 6 Delta is a notable icy body with an extremely elongated orbit. Body 6 Delta contains large deposits of
Right.
carbon.
What have we got in here?
This body has large deposits of carbon. Planet 6 is notable, with a pristine
Last
icy
one,
ring.
gas giant. This one will have a ring.
Planet 3 is notable, with pristine rocky and icy rings. Body 3 Alpha contains large deposits of sulfur and carbon. Planet 4 is notable, with an extremely elongated orbit. Planet 2 is interesting, with an unusually oblong orbit and an unusually high surface temperature of over 354 Kelvin.
Which is weird for an ice planet.
Planet 1 is notable, with a pristine icy ring.
And the moon.
System scan complete.
There we go. Check the system map. What do we got? Alright, the closest landable is... can't be bothered. Next.
Frameshift drive charging.
Come on, give me something exciting to look at.
Telemetry obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Blue through a Kilo Echo Golf Charlie 27-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Temperature critical.
It's not really. Stop saying that.
Scanning now.
23 bodies remain to be scanned here.
We could find something interesting in this one.
Fuel scooping complete.
Maximum fuel.
Fuel down to 0. And star at the outside edge of the map. Oh, there we go. Gas giants and maybe some rocky bodies.
Planet 7 is exceptional, with an unusually high mass at 7.9 times Earth's, an incredibly large radius of just over 14,000 kilometers, and a pristine icy ring. Planet 5 is notable, with pristine rocky and icy rings.
There we go.
Body 5 Delta has high levels of carbon and selenium. This body has high levels of carbon. This body contains high levels of carbon and selenium. This body contains high levels of carbon. Planet 6 is a notable Class 1 gas giant
I
with
shall
pristine metal rich
return
and icy rings.
momentarily.
Engaging. Engaging warp drive.
And I'm back. So I better turn BRB off. Alright, some icy ones around here. Ooh. Here are rocky bodies, and by the look of it, they're going to be moons.
This body contains large deposits of arsenic.
And moons of a
Planet
class
1
3
is
gas
notable with a
giant.
pristine metal-rich ring. Planet 4 is notable with a pristine icy ring. Body
Thank
4
you,
Bravo
Abby.
has large deposits of carbon. This body has large deposits of carbon and selenium.
This one's got a ring too.
Planet 3 is a notable gas giant with water-based life with a pristine icy ring. This body contains very high levels of carbon at 24.7% and high levels of sulfur and phosphorus. Body 3 Alpha contains large deposits of sulfur, carbon and phosphorus. This star system holds every element required to augment Grey Wanderer 3's range. Exploration class, green.
So basically, if I wanted to add jumponium to the mix in my synthesis, this system would allow me to restock it. I don't use jumponium. I could. I just don't really see the point. It's about exploring, which means visiting places, not skipping them over. A 1,000 light seconds out, but there's a landable one. Alright, let's have a look at A on the system map.
Leaving map.
That's not what I wanted you to do. Not particularly interesting. And then the others are beige. Next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Selecting next system en route.
Entry guidance computations complete.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Blue Through Oscar Kilo Dash Echo Charlie 28-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Maximum velocity engaged.
I like Vasco, but I don't have him yet. Apart from that,
Grey
the one I
Wanderer
use
3's
the
fuel
most
reserves now
is
at
Doris,
97%.
Exit protocols. Scanning for information.
which is
Planet
this
1
one
is
that's
remarkable,
talking
with an
now.
incredibly high mass at well over 11.5 times Earth's, an incredibly large radius of nearly 12,000 kilometers, and an extremely high surface temperature of just over 5,000 Kelvin. Planet 2 is a notable high metal content world with an extremely high surface temperature of over 3,000 Kelvin. 3 out of 21 bodies have been scanned. Fuel at
See,
maximum.
I still use mostly keyboard commands because I've become used to it. The issue Grumpy and I both face is because we have an Australian accent. We don't tend to
Planet 6 is
enunciate
notable,
our
with pristine
vowels as
rocky and
clearly
icy
as
rings.
Voice Attack would like. but it's not actually voice attack, it's the Windows speech recognition system.
This body contains large deposits of carbon and selenium.
And the heavier your Australian accent, or any accent for that matter, the harder it is to get voice
Moon
attack
6
to
Hotel is
recognise
remarkable,
exactly
with
what
an
you're
extremely
trying to
inclined
do.
orbit and a pristine icy ring. Body 6 Hotel has large deposits of carbon and selenium. Moon 6 Echo is notable, with an extremely elongated orbit. This body has large deposits of carbon and selenium. Moon 6 Foxtrot is a notable icy body with an extremely elongated
My
orbit.
accent's more
Body
generic.
6 Foxtrot has large deposits of carbon and selenium.
When I was a kid, I lived literally in every state on the east coast of Australia, almost always in the cities, or near them. I've lived as far north as Cairns in far north Queensland and as far south as Hobart in Tasmania. Grumpy's got more of a Victorian country accent. But you find in Australia, if somebody's lived in one state, they do definitely have a distinct accent. Mine is, if you like, the generic Australian accent. It also helps that I used to work in IT support, so I had to learn to speak very
Planet
clearly
5 is remarkable, with an extremely high mass at nearly 3,000
people
times
about
Earth,
things
an
that they
unusually
didn't
high surface
understand when
temperature of
helping
over
them.
730 Kelvin, and a pristine metal-rich ring.
Yeah, see, there's certain American accents which Australians have no problem whatsoever understanding.
Moon 5 Alpha is notable,
And then
with an
there's
extremely high
Mississippi and
surface temperature of
Louisiana.
over 484 Kelvin. This body contains large deposits of carbon. Body 5 Charlie has large deposits of selenium.
Any area where the language is isolated from, if you like, the mainstream, the accents get thicker.
Planet 4 is remarkable, with an unusually
everybody
elongated
goes on
orbit
about
and an
New
incredibly
Zealanders'
high surface
accents.
temperature of well over 380
But there's a
Kelvin.
reason for that. All of their vowels, even to
Planet
us,
3 is a notable
sound pretty
class
much
1
the same.
giant with pristine metal-rich and icy rings.
And the last two are right behind the sun there. So we'll head out of the plane of the ecliptic. So about perpendicular would be good. Drop speed back down. Find the sun. There it is. And there's the missing planets.
Planet 7
I've
is
been
remarkable,
told I've got
with
a
an
good
incredibly high mass
voice
at
for
around
radio.
35.5
I've
times
told
Earth
people
and an
I've also
extremely
got
high
good
radius
face
of
for
over
radio.
19,500 kilometers.
Oh yeah, I used to watch a couple of TV shows. There was one of them about some guy that used to trap. Oh, what was his name? He used to trap wild animals in people's houses and remove them, and he did it mostly with his hands. Yeah, that one, the one on Discovery. Now, that accent, there were times when I'd watch that show and I'd have to watch sections of it 2 or 3 times before I realised what he was saying. Yep. Especially when they start slipping in the Americanised French. See, these ones would have been nice to look at. These two types of planets are my favourite ones to orbit, so we'll go and have a look at one of these. No, I didn't want the sun. That's what I wanted. Yeah, we've got certain areas in Australia which are the accent's not quite as thick, but the environment is somewhat similar. of all the planets in Elite Dangerous, these are the ones that I want to land on. Okay, this is an 8, so I may need to use 6. So, I'll do that, that, and that. See how close I get. The west coast of Tasmania is, I guess, the equivalent of hillbilly USA.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Yeah, so 84%. So I need to scan the back of the planet. Please note, I don't mean anything against hillbillies when I say that. But it's the sort of area where they make the jokes about the fact that everybody in the town is related to each other. Yeah, well, it's not trailers in Australia. Trailer parks are another. We don't have trailer parks as such.
Mapping is now complete. Efficiency bonus granted. Body 1 is a high-gravity tidally locked high-metal content world that is unsuitable for landing. This planet shows signs of volcanism, with high numbers of active silicate vapor geysers. You have mapped all interesting bodies.
We do have caravan parks, but most of the time they're where people with not high incomes stay, but it's usually a temporary thing, not a permanent thing. Most of our trailer parks as such are retired people who've kind of like, I guess, the Florida trying to think of the word, cliche. Look at this planet. I would love to be able to land on something like this. To actually land near a volcano. With huge magma fields. Maybe drop a miner down, like an auto miner. Look at those canyons. Even landing where there's an atmosphere, so that you can land near something like that. I mean, if you fly into it, you're going to blow up because you're going to overheat. But to be able to get near it and just have a look. I mean, look at this giant shield volcano we're going across now. I mean, no other game has terrain features like this in it that I've seen anyway. I mean, you do have there's that one where you can basically go and visit the galaxy, visit various planets in the galaxy and whatever, but it's not a game, it's a simulator for showing off planets. You can't do anything. Now, if we were to combine Elite Dangerous with that Galaxy Space Sim program, we'd have everything we want to do. And look at the hotspots in that lava. Could you imagine how big they'd have to be for us to be this high up and still see them? Yeah, it's a galaxy simulator, that's what it is. I can't remember the name of it. I could look it up in about 3 seconds, but I don't want to. Anyway. Enough of that. Off to the next system. Next system.
System destination locked.
Engage FSD.
Engaging drive.
3/4 impulse.
3/4 impulse. Engaging.
The other thing I like about having data as my 2IC is it feels like I'm in the Starship Enterprise.
Telemetry obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is in transit to the Blue through a November Kilo Echo Charlie 28-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
I got Vega because he was half price. That was the second one I bought. The first one I got was Kate. Crew command roster.
Scanning now.
35 bodies remain to be scanned.
Crewman Kate, all stations.
Of course.
That is all. So now Kate, the one that I bought first, is in charge. Now, I like Kate. But part of that was because I was watching so many documentaries at the time I recognised the voice and went, oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Body Alpha Thor Delta has large deposits of carbon. This body contains large deposits of carbon and selenium. Body Alpha Thor Charlie contains large deposits of carbon. This body contains large deposits of carbon. This body has large deposits of carbon and selenium. This body contains large deposits of carbon and selenium.
Now what you're hearing at the moment
Body Alpha
is
Thor Golf
Eddie.
has high levels of carbon and selenium. Notable stellar phenomena detected. Notable stellar phenomena detected.
Ooh,
Planet Bravo Charlie 1 is notable, with pristine metal rich and rocky rings.
okay, we're going there. Finish scanning the system and that's where we're going. Why? Because that means there's space organisms. Or maybe space
Planet
lightning.
Bravo Charlie 5 is notable, with a pristine icy ring.
But got to scan every planet. Don't have to map every planet, but I do have to scan them.
Cancelled.
Planet Bravo Charlie 6 is notable, with an unusually high radius of well over 12,000 kilometers and pristine rocky and icy rings. Planet Bravo Charlie 4 is interesting, with an
Now, each
unusually
of the
high radius
voices,
of
I
over
don't know if you're
11,000
aware, but
kilometers
each
and
of
an
the
extremely
voices
high
you can
surface
ask them
temperature of over
who
488
they
Kelvin.
are and where they are. Sorry, who made them. So, in a moment, we'll check out Kate's responses. Unicorn bits. I'm not affiliate yet, so I can't be sponsored or anything along those lines as yet. But I'm close, nearly there.
You're welcome, Commander.
It will be nice once I actually hit affiliate, because then, however small
Planet
the
Alpha 2
amounts
is
might
interesting,
be,
with an extremely high
I can
mass of
actually
7.1
earn
times
some
Earth's and an
profit on
incredibly large radius of
playing
around
games and
10,500
streaming
kilometers.
on Twitch.
Planet Alpha 5 is notable,
Thank
with
you.
pristine rocky and icy rings.
I've got about, I think I only need 6 more
Body Alpha 5
subscribers and
Bravo
I'm done.
contains high levels of carbon.
Up to the 50 that you need
Body Alpha 5
sorry,
Alpha
6
contains
more
large deposits
followers
of carbon and selenium.
to get to affiliate.
This body has large deposits of sulfur, carbon and phosphorus.
Yeah, the thing is, it'll be a nice surprise when it happens. I'm not expecting
Moon
it to
Alpha 5
happen
Delta is
anytime
notable,
soon.
with an unusually elliptical orbit. Body Alpha 5 Delta contains large deposits of carbon.
You're welcome.
Moon Alpha 5 Echo is a notable icy body with an unusually oblong orbit. Body Alpha 5 Echo contains large deposits of carbon and selenium. This body has large deposits of carbon. Planet Alpha Tree is notable, with pristine metal-rich and icy rings.
I would like to turn it into a career, but I've got to get some other equipment to be able to get it so that it's working properly.
This body
I've
contains
noticed
large
that if
deposits
you
of
show
carbon
your
and
face
selenium.
on stream, you're more likely to get followers.
Moon Alpha Tree Bravo
I'm
is a
not so
notable
sure
icy
about
body with a
that with an
pristine
ugly
icy
mug
rings.
like mine, but hey, you never know your luck.
Planet Alpha 1 is a notable water world with potential for terraforming and abundant liquid water.
Oh,
Moon Alpha
We
1
have
Alpha
two
is a
things to
notable
look
rocky
at.
body with
Well,
an
three,
unusually inclined
technically.
orbit and an incredibly large radius of nearly 3,000 kilometers. This system contains every element that can be found from surface prospecting. Exploration class, gold. Body
Right,
Alpha
so
1 is a
this is where
recommended
we're going
candidate to map.
first. So we'll go and map this,
You're welcome.
and then we'll go and visit notable stellar phenomena. The other thing I need to do is get a decent... Yeah, I do have some good connections for hosts. I've actually made quite a few friends from the people who stream on Twitch. They recognise me by name, they know that I'm online on a regular basis. They point towards me if people need advice or assistance. And that's half the thing I like about Elite, is being able to help people. I mean, I've been playing this game now basically 1 month after release I started playing it. It doesn't have a particularly large audience, but those that do watch all the time. I sometimes think that Elite Dangerous players, though, unless they're doing combat and stuff like that, should do just chatting streams. Because it's just chatting with something to keep you busy. And I've noticed a lot of the just chatting streamers. Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Surface scanned by 50%.
I mean, he's a guy who's had a
Mapping is
lot of
finished.
experience in his
Efficiency
life.
bonus awarded.
It has so many stories
Body
to
A1
tell.
is a medium gravity water world that is unsuitable for landing. This planet shows signs of volcanism, with
His
high levels of
opinions
active
are his
synthetic
own.
magma flows. You have mapped all worthwhile bodies.
Yeah, but if we're going to map that one, we might as well map the one next to it. And then we'll go and see what's out in space. This one even looks like a moon. On YouTube, they've done that a few times actually. They have there's a bunch of YouTube creators that get together on, or used to get together on a fairly regular basis, including Obsidian Ant, Yamix, Plato,
Jim Wolf is
Commander
now offline.
Exigeous.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan.
Mapping is now finished. Efficiency bonus granted. Body A1 AM is a
Haven't
low
seen
gravity
that
tidal
one.
locked rocky body that is unsuitable for landing. All worthwhile bodies are now mapped.
Oh, just calling it AD. somewhere down here. There we go. 22,000 light seconds out. Right, let's head out. This is where the fun begins. It might be 22,000 light seconds away, but it's worth having a look. Oh, yes, okay. No, they don't mention ED quite as much over here. I was actually thinking there was another one. There was another acronym that somebody was using. I thought it was funny when way back when wrestling, what's now WCW or NWO or whatever you want to call it, used to be the WWF, which was the same acronym as the World Wildlife Fund. And my daughter found a t-shirt of two pandas beating each other up with chairs, and it's got WWF Live. Yeah, back when Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake were in there, and the Ultimate Warrior. Well, like I said, it was WWF when I first started watching it, then it became WWE. I remember when The Rock first came on. Yes. Andre the Giant old.
Internal sensors suggest you may be intoxicated. I recommend using the auto-docking system.
Who are you?
I am Kate Russell.
What are you? Nope, it's not picking that one up. Who made you? Who made you?
Classified.
Who made you?
Classified.
Who made you?
I'm afraid that's classified information.
I do like the fact there's multiple responses, but sometimes it's a bit difficult to get the different ones to actually come out. Apparently one of the female ones, if you use an expletive, it turns around and says, I can't do that, I'm just an AI. So basically, if you drop the F-bomb, one of the HES voice packs that's, I believe it's a fairly recent release called KSAI. That one is right down Grumpy's alley. There's an awful lot of foul language that flies with that. It would certainly be a mature content stream if you were running with that guy in the crew. We're getting close. So have you actually seen any interstellar stellar phenomena on any of the other guys' streams? Basically, they're clouds within space most of the time that contain either organic or semi-organic structures or weather effects in space, such as lightning. Yep. I'm looking for the one that is made out of beer. Because I just want to open the fuel scoop up and fill up. Alrighty, 200 light seconds out. So we've got a gas giant here with two sources of stellar phenomena, one on either side, by the look of it, in the asteroid ring, so this could be interesting. Okay, in this game, it's like the galaxy. Eventually, the stars get so far apart that you can't reach them anymore. Now, there is one system to the north, so up, if you like, in the galaxy, where the final jump is something like 287 light years, and there's no way back. Alright, so you can catch a neutron star to jump to this place, but you can't jump back because everything's too far away. To say that you've been there. It's as high up as you can get above the galaxy looking down.
Grey Wanderer 3 has left Super Cruise.
Alright, so we're in an asteroid belt. Okay, see how we've got all these weird signals ahead of us? They're not asteroids. Because asteroids just show us orange dots. Unless you get too close. Here we go. Oh, it's a mollusk. Alright. Time to enable the fighter.
Fighter deploying from mothership.
The only way to get back is to blow your ship up. Right, where are you, little fellas? Is that one? Nope. There's one there. Here we go. Ran into him. Now he's going to bump against my ship. There you go. Stony space squids. Now what we can do by switching modes is identify one of these little squids. There's one closer to me. Right there. Right, highlight him. And 2500. So he's running away from me now. Hello, Squidly. Oh, where'd you go? I'm inside a squid. You notice what he's doing? He's actually going to go and bump into my ship. No, he stopped. See ya. They propel themselves around by farting. Oh look, what I want them to do for April Fool's one year is just make the Earth a flat disk. Preferably riding on the back of 4 giant elephants, walking around in circles on a giant turtle. Right, there I am. Time to head back in and go and have a look at the other one in case it's something different.
Item retrieval sequence initiated.
Now, I don't know if you saw this the other day, but if we follow this in, so we're pretty much lined up. A little bit up. There we go. Right. Watch what happens when we land. Oh. The wings fold up. Which I think is really awesome.
Fighter relift with ship.
Alright. Navigation. Go to number 2. Gotta get out of this asteroid field. please. Thank you.
You're welcome, Commander.
Yeah, it's like a poor man's transformer.
Entered Super Cruise.
And even flying around a gas giant. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but damn, it's good to look at. And when you're this close, you can almost see the depth of the clouds. Try and get a bit of speed up so that we can get around this planet a little quicker. That's what we need to see. Well, see, there is this theory that we're not actually flying around virtual constructs in a computer game. The theory goes, what we're actually doing is flying around micro drones. So each of the ship is actually a spacefaring drone that we're controlling remotely to explore the galaxy. It's how NASA's making all these discoveries of planets.
You're welcome.
It's kind of like an advanced version of the SETI program. Our matrix theory is interesting. But I like a lot of the conspiracy or alternative world theories. I find them fascinating. But also like debunking flat Earth. Oh, different one.
Grey Wanderer 3 has returned to normal space.
So in this one, we've got space urchins. Now, that last one you saw, they were tiny. As you can no doubt imagine, these ones are not. And to give you an idea, I'll pull in close with my beluga. Ah, it's purple again. I didn't want a purple, I'd already discovered that. Right, now as I said, the beluga is bigger than the anaconda. Let's turn her around so we get some light on the subject. as you can see, these ones are actually moving as well. They're spinning very slowly. Right, so in a minute, that may contact the edge of the wing there. There we go. Right, it doesn't care that I'm there, it'll push me out of the way. Now, the beluga is huge, but these things are bigger. Anyway, back into the ship. We need to scan it. Oh, don't tell me I didn't put it on there. I didn't put it on there. There we go. All that for 2,500 credits, but who cares? They look cool. Right, organise back on. The reason I have them on is so that I don't run into the corona of the star that I'm looking at. And look at the colours. Anyway, right, next star system. Next star system. Engage FSD.
That's a negative.
Yeah, I know, I'm too close. Well, being able to get out and... Yep, no problem at all, Mr. Ron. Engage FSD.
Frameshift drive charging.
Frameshift now engaging. Course adjustment.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Blue Fuel Golf Foxtrot Charlie Delta 1 2 system. This is your first visit to this system. Your reserves are at 94% capacity.
So yeah, the interstellar,
Scanning now.
notable stellar phenomena are the things that I want to see the most, and it doesn't matter how far away they are from the main star, I'll go hunting them, if I can find them.
Refueled.
That's only the second set of notable stellar phenomena that I've found without going to somewhere where somebody else has already found it on the codex.
Frameshift drive charging.
But this is why I say you don't want too big a jump range. Because if your jump range is too big, you've got too much
Jumping
chance of
progress.
missing those sorts
Grey
of
Wanderer
things.
3 is in transit to the Blue Fuel India Alpha Charlie Delta 1 3 system. This is your first visit to this system. Fuel reserves at 92% capacity.
Stand
This is
by.
also why
Scanning
if you're
now.
exploring,
Collating. Compiling data. Cartography update complete.
3 out of 4 bodies have been scanned.
it can be a good idea to actually get, excuse me, a little away from the galactic plane, because with the longer jump range, you're still going to visit every system
Grey
between
Wanderer 3
point
is
A
now at
and
maximum
point A
fuel
and
capacity.
B that when you map, you're not going to skip much. Whereas if you're in the galactic plane, you'll skip a lot more. So your chances of missing it, because you're hitting nearly every star, are much, much lower.
Planet Charlie 1 is notable, with an incredibly elliptical orbit.
And I think that'd be the most disappointing thing, if you jumped one system too far or one system too early and skipped over something that nobody else had ever spotted. And then the next day somebody comes in and finds it and you go, but I was just there.
Frameshift drive charging.
And of course, in Elite Dangerous, if you're the first person to discover something, your name goes on it.
Vectors.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is en route to the Smudge Yankee Charlie-Foxtrot Charlie 0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Temperatures are at an acceptable. Completing system scan for
Star Alpha is
cartography.
notable, relative to similar class Kilo stars, with an unusually high average density. As you can see, it emits a yellow
22
orange light.
bodies.
Star Bravo is interesting, relative to similar class Mike stars, with an unusually low solar radius at 0.34 times sols and an unusually high average density. As you can see, it emits an orange-red light. 19 bodies remain to be scanned in this system. Refueled.
Something around there. Heavy metal worlds, potentially. Is that wide enough to have a ring? Probably not, possibly. No. Wishful thinking. $3,000 IQ. I sometimes wonder if I've scored double digits. Yeah. Only on the scanning, not on the
This body
mapping.
contains large deposits of tellurium.
Got to leave something for somebody else to do. I'm still looking for my royal flush though, which is one of each of the terraformables and an earth-like, preferably with rings, all in one system. Just
This body
do
has
the
high
easy
levels
bit.
of carbon. Body Alpha Bravo Charlie 2 Charlie
You may
contains
call
large
it kind,
deposits
I
of
call
carbon.
it lazy. I'm letting everybody else do
Body
the
Alpha
hard
Bravo
work.
Charlie 2 Delta contains high levels of carbon and selenium.
Come on, where's these other ones? Out in the middle of nowhere. Yep.
Body Alpha Bravo Charlie 1 Bravo has large deposits of carbon. Body
I
Alpha
think the
Bravo
best
Charlie
thing
1
about
Charlie
exploring
contains high
is
levels of
sharing
carbon
your
and selenium.
exploration with others.
Body Alpha Bravo Charlie 1 Echo contains high levels of carbon and selenium. Body Alpha Bravo
There
Charlie
was
1 Golf has high
one
levels
guy
of
that
carbon
was
and
doing
selenium.
a run out to Beagle
Body
Point,
Alpha Bravo Charlie 1 Delta contains large deposits of carbon.
and my whole purpose for 9.5
Body Alpha
hours
Bravo
was
Charlie
to
1
chase him.
Foxtrot contains high levels of carbon.
Not for any reason other than to try and catch up, because I started off about 5,000 light years behind him. You see, somebody else has already been here. That's alright. Next.
Frameshift drive charging.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is en route to the Smoji Echo Echo Dash Delta Charlie 1-0 system. This is your first visit to this system. Grey Wanderer 3's fuel levels are now at 92%. Commander.
Scanning.
System scan complete.
Tucson system.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
I'm a little bomb for that. Let it cool down before I start.
Frameshift drive.
That's the only problem with the Beluga. If you start your FSD a little bit too early, you can quite easily overheat, and other ships, when you're starting at the same time, would not be subject to the same issue,
Destination confirmed.
especially the
Grey Wanderer 3 is
DBX.
en route to the Smoji India Kilo Dash Bravo Charlie 2-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
It can happen. A friend of mine actually
Grey
materialised
Wanderer 3's fuel
inside
reserves now at 89% capacity.
the smaller of a binary pair.
Gathering information. Cartography updated.
This body has high levels of iron, nickel, zinc, vanadium, zirconium, tin, ruthenium and
His
tungsten.
ship basically instantaneously vaporised.
19 bodies remain to be scanned.
I've had it where on a binary pair I've come out in the corona of the smaller of the two stars. Because the large one technically is going to be the one that you land in all the time. Luckily, I still had 2 heat sinks left. Mind you, they were my last 2 and I used both of them. See, this system's already been scanned and mapped in the majority of it, I would say.
Planet 8 is a notable high metal content world with an extremely oblong orbit. Planet 7 is a notable high metal content world with an extremely elliptical orbit.
Ringed gas giant.
Planet 11 is a notable class 1 gas giant with crystalline metal rich and icy rings. Body 11 Charlie has large deposits of carbon. Body 11
Yep.
Echo has large deposits of carbon.
What's amazing is the sounds that each
This body contains
stellar
large
body
deposits
makes,
of carbon.
because Elite Dangerous is actually,
Body 11 Delta contains large deposits of carbon.
they didn't just randomly pick
Body 11
sounds.
Delta Alpha has very large deposits of carbon at 25.7% and selenium at 4.8% and large deposits of sulfur and phosphorus.
So, as an example, this one here. Right, we know it's a gas giant. That sound that you're hearing is the sound of a gas giant. Right, it's the analysis that they did. A person in, I think it was Hawaii, at one of those, the big
Planet
twin
12 is notable with crystalline
telescopes,
rocky and icy rings.
figured out the best way to analyse stars to determine what they were was to
Body 12
listen
Alpha
to
has large
them, so
deposits of
change
carbon.
the frequency from an electromagnetic to an audio.
Body 12 Bravo contains
frequency.
large deposits of carbon.
Wow, what if the
This body
gas
has large
giants is
deposits of
what
carbon.
gives birth to Thargoids? What if they weren't originally a terrestrial creature at all?
This system has every element that may be required to boost Grey Wanderer 3's range. Exploration class, green.
No, no, just first discovered. So. Off to the next one.
Frameshift drive charging.
I don't know that they are evil and mean except for the scouts. The scouts definitely. But I sometimes wonder if the scouts are actually a completely
Adjusting for
separate
jump.
species of Thargoid.
Telemetry obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is en route to the Smokeye Mike Quebec-Zulu Charlie 2-0
If you
system.
like,
This is your first visit to this system.
Frameshift now engaged.
yep, don't feed the dogs. On the bench.
Scanning for information.
2 out of 3 bodies have been scanned.
Yeah, so you could say that the small scout Thargoids are the Chihuahuas, and the big Thargoids are the St. Bernards.
Grey Wanderer 3's fuel tanks are now at 99% capacity.
Actually, it's the other way around, because the scouts are the aggressive ones. The ones we refer to as interceptors, because they drag you out of hyperspace, or witch space, they're generally non-aggressive. They scan and go away.
Frameshift drive charging.
I mean, the scouts are the ones that keep on beating you up and basically never leave. If you jump into a pod of scouts, it's almost guaranteed you will be attacked. Whereas if you drop in on a Cyclops, until you approach within a certain distance, or you attack them, they basically leave you alone. But that's the thing, we called them scouts, but are they?
Scanning for information.
I mean, they could
One
be
out
an
of 12
armed
bodies has been
recon
scanned.
patrol, I guess.
Refuel.
But that's not technically the same as a scout. I mean, when I was in the Army Reserve, just because you were scouting didn't mean you didn't go armed. Thank you. But you also didn't specifically go looking
Planet
for
6 is
combat.
notable, with an extremely elongated orbit. Planet 7 is notable, with an extremely oblong orbit.
I mean, in the original Elite Dangerous, all we ever really encountered
44 alpha
was the
contains high levels of
scout-style
carbon.
ships, not the big ones. So is it possible that all this stuff that's been going on with the big ones, the Cyclops, the Basilisk, all the others, is it possible that we've actually started a fight with a race that was related but not quite the same as? And now those two races or species have joined together because they see us as a mutual threat because we keep attacking them. Well, see, this is the thing. I wouldn't engage first. But the ships we've designated as scouts do. The interceptors, however, don't.
System scan complete.
Yeah, enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, because they're two, not necessarily the same but related species, I guess you could say the chimpanzees and bonobos. Right, the chimpanzees are more likely to be violent than a bonobo will. But basically they're the same creature. Everything about them is pretty much equivalent. The main
You're
difference
very
between
welcome.
bonobos and chimpanzees is the society that they've grown up in.
Frameshift drive charging.
I mean, I think the bonobos are hilarious. They're the hippies of the Great Ape world. Peace, love, and mung beans, and free love.
Telemetry obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Smoker Victor X-ray
funny
Charlie
thing
3-0
about-
system. This is your first visit to this system.
Yeah. But the funny thing about the bonobos is they're actually a matriarchal society.
Scanning.
1 out of 6 bodies has been scanned.
Oh look,
Maximum fuel.
sun's waving. Not anymore. Yeah, so each of the different types of apes, your chimpanzees, your gorillas, and the gorillas were chosen to be the enforcers because they were big and strong, not because they were necessarily violent.
Planet 1 is a notable water world with abundant liquid water.
The chimpanzees were the most tool-oriented, so therefore they became the engineers. The orangutans were the most likely to meditate and think about things, so they became the doctors and
Planet 4 is
scientists.
notable, with an unusually high radius of over 11,000 kilometers. Body 1 is a good candidate for mapping.
I mean, one of the arguments for apes taking over was the fact that they had prehensile feet. And that's why they were able to outdo us as such.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Smoker Uniform X-Ray Charlie Tree-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Hull integrity is within
I don't
limits.
think the lemurs would fit in on a Planet of the Apes because they're not as... they've evolved in a different way.
Scanning now.
The lemurs would be your acrobats and actors,
5 bodies remain to be scanned.
and maybe your
Grey
singers.
Wanderer 3 is now at maximum fuel capacity.
Because we all know how much they like to move it. Well, see, if they've evolved to become intelligent, poop fights may be a form of biological warfare.
Planet Alpha Fur is notable, with a crystalline icy ring.
It's how they used to get people
This
out of
body has large
medieval
deposits of sulfur,
castles,
carbon and
was
phosphorus.
to
Body
infiltrate
Alpha
the
3 also has
castle
high
and
levels of carbon and selenium. Body Alpha
put
3
anything
larva
that was
contains large
disgusting,
deposits of carbon and
poop,
selenium.
vomit, dead bodies into the wells to poison the water to make people get out.
Frameshift drive charging.
I watch too many documentaries. It's like I've been watching this documentary series on Discovery Science here,
Course adjustment.
called Contact. And it's basically these people claiming that they've got links to the CIA and the Pentagon and all these other places, and they're investigating UFO incidents across the world. And there's these lakes in Chile that apparently UFOs are seen at all the time, and they can't explain why water's disappearing
Scanning
from
now.
them and all the rest of it. But everybody knows with a quick Google search that if you look them up, these
body remains to be
lakes,
scanned.
when they lose water, it's usually because there's been some form of volcanic activity and the water basically drains out of the lake or is erupted in steam in another part. There's all sorts of different things that are going on, but a simple Google search would find that. Do they use Google? No, they use their custom system.
Planet
I
Bravo
don't
Charlie
even
1
know
is
what their
notable,
custom
with an
system's
incredibly
called,
elongated
but
orbit.
it apparently picks up links between things that are specifically related to UFOs.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, there's no doubt that aliens exist in some part of the universe. Whether they're close enough to us to have interacted, if they're in our own galaxy, that's another matter entirely. We don't know. I mean, it could be a case of
Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Smoker Charlie.
Humankind is so potentially dangerous, they've been scanning us for the
Faster than
last
light velocity reached.
70, 80
Jesus,
years,
that's fast.
100 years plus. Humankind is deemed so dangerous that until such times as we calm down and learn to live with each other, they've effectively blocked us off from detecting them.
Completing system scan. Standby.
And I know if I
Gathering
had a neighbour that
information.
was like we are,
Cartography has now been
constantly
updated.
fighting, blowing each other up, murdering people for the sake of it, relying on little green bits of money to make sure that people get what they need, and not giving enough little green bits of money to share it evenly and help have everybody live reasonably comfortably. Instead, isolating most of it in the top fraction of a percent, who can do whatever the hell they want.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's not just America. It's human history. People travel to a new place, find the new guys there. A fight ensues. If the new guy that you've met is tougher, you go, holy crap, get out of here. We can't deal with this. If, however, it's the other way around and you've got the higher technology, you wipe them out or force them to become part of your society. It's happened everywhere. Yeah, well, see, in Australia, it happened with the European settlers and our Aboriginal people, which we call Aboriginal people. In Canberra, one of the local tribes is the Ngunnawal tribe, and I happen to live in a suburb called Ngunnawal. I mean, it's the English and the Europeans did it to the Americas. The Chinese and Japanese have done it to each other at different times. The Europeans were doing it to the Middle Eastern countries. It's happened so many times between so many different groups. I mean, the Egyptians did it to the Jewish people. The Greeks and Romans had issues. Yeah, it's just everywhere. I mean, if aliens are less aggressive than we
You're
are,
welcome,
then we're
Commander.
scary. If aliens are more aggressive than we are, then we're not important.
Frameshift drive charging.
Well, there was that movie that was made where the
Leaving
aliens
system.
learnt about
So long.
humans from watching
Jumping
Star Trek or a spin-off thereof, Galaxy Quest. That was the one.
Charlie 5-0 system.
So, because they were being attacked by an evil warlord, they created a starship based on the Galaxy Quest starship and sucked all the people that they thought were actually the real-life
Grey Wanderer
pilots
3 skill
and
levels are at
so on
93%.
onto the ship and sent them out to fight the evil
This star
warlord.
is notable, with higher than average
Completing
density.
system
As you
scan.
can see, it emits a yellow-orange light.
I think it was great fun. It didn't take itself too seriously.
Frameshift drive
And I think that's another problem that we've got these days, is that everything has to be social commentary. I mean, the latest season of Supergirl, now I was quite a regular watcher of Supergirl, but the latest season of Supergirl I haven't started watching, and some of the reviews of it, I wonder whether I'll bother.
Charlie 6-0 system.
Hyperspace velocity reached.
Patrick Stewart wouldn't be a captain, he'd be in the number one position or an advisor too.
Key systems are at optimum levels.
This star is
Readying for
notable
exit.
relative to similar class Golf stars, with higher than average density.
I mean, for a
As you can see, it emits a
xenobiologist, you
yellow
want
light.
one of the Irwin kids.
1 out of 23 bodies has been scanned here.
Crikey, you should see this.
temperature critical. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Planet 1 is notable, with a pristine metal-rich ring. This body contains high levels of arsenic and tellurium.
Steve was a bit extreme.
Body 1 Charlie Alpha contains
I
high
mean,
levels
his
of
general
tellurium.
ideas about wildlife and stuff like that, most Australians, I would say, we're proud of our wildlife, but we're not
Body 1
stupid
Delta
enough to go
contains very
chasing
high
it.
levels of tellurium at 1.5% and high levels of germanium and arsenic.
We'd have to know what we were doing before we even considered it, because we all know that our wildlife's out there to kill us. If not directly, just because being on the road, it'll total your car, make you have an accident, and it'll get you that way. Oh, definitely. Look, the guy was thoroughly an entertainer. He was so incredibly enthusiastic about what he did for a living. And you got to respect that. I mean, a whole generation of Australian children got their appreciation of native Australian animals from watching the Irwins. As in Steve and his missus.
Body
There's
3
certain
Charlie
parts
contains
of
large deposits of
certain
carbon.
parts of Australia, those that are
This body
closer
contains
to
high levels
where
of
the
carbon and
Irwins
selenium.
have their
Body 3
stuff.
Bravo contains large deposits of carbon.
His enthusiasm and the way he acted
This body has high levels
apparently
of
was
carbon and
not an
selenium.
act.
This
That
body
is
has high
how
levels
he
of carbon.
was because he was so enthusiastic about animals.
This body contains large deposits of carbon and selenium.
He just thought they were amazing in every way, shape or form. And there is nothing at all wrong with that. You can get excited.
Planet 2 is a notable Class 1 gas giant with a pristine icy ring. Moon 2 Delta is notable, with an extremely oblong orbit. Body 2 Delta contains large deposits of carbon. Moon 2
Yep.
Charlie is notable, with an extremely oblong orbit.
I
This
mean,
body
there is a
contains
whole
high levels of carbon
generation
and
that
selenium.
wouldn't have given an absolute
This
flying
body has high levels of carbon.
hoot about the
This body
environment
contains
if it
large
hadn't been
deposits
for
of
Steve
sulfur,
Irwin.
carbon and phosphorus.
System scan.
This body
Because there was
contains large
nobody
deposits
else
of
that really
carbon.
made them feel like
Body 2
it was
Foxtrot
worth
contains large
saving.
deposits of carbon.
I think the closest we came for my generation was David Attenborough. I mean, he's another one you can hear in his voice.
Frameshift drive charging.
David Attenborough's voice is immediately recognisable alongside Kirk's, well, William Shatner's.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Smoja Golf Lima-Sierra Charlie 6-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Confirming exit point. Scanning for information.
15 bodies remain to be scanned. Grey Wanderer 3 is now at 100% fuel capacity.
To become a successful sports commentator, you have to have something distinctive about your voice. If you've got a very generic voice, most people are going to go, yeah, go on news radio. You need to be able to get excited about stuff to be a sports commentator. Which is why I could never do anything like that. I just don't find sport exciting.
This body has large deposits of germanium and arsenic. Body 3 Bravo contains large deposits of tellurium.
See, I generally don't watch sport, so you could mention half a
This body
dozen
has high
different
levels of
sports
germanium.
commentators. I probably wouldn't know their
This body has
names.
high levels of arsenic.
the only guy I recognise out of sports and whatever, and I don't even know his name, is the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, etc. And that's because I used to watch the wrestling with my dad. I actually like watching American football. Not all the time, but I like watching the Super Bowl and some of the other ones. Simply because it is a sport that is made for TV. I mean, no other football game contains two teams that need to change after every
This body
fourth
contains
or
large
fifth
deposits
play
of carbon
so
and
that you can
selenium.
throw an ad break in.
Planet 5 is notable, with an incredibly large radius of just over 13,000 kilometers and a pristine icy ring.
I guess the closest you've got to American football
Planet
would
1 is a
be,
notable gas giant with water-based
the
life with a
rugbies.
pristine rocky ring.
and with those,
Planet 2 is a notable
if you
icy
slow
body
the
with an
game
incredibly
down,
high surface temperature of well
you get
over
a penalty.
408 Kelvin.
There's no such thing as a timeout to change teams to go from defence to offence. Everybody's got to play it. Yeah, that's what it feels like. But the thing is that the game's actually interesting to watch once you understand how it works. And you don't have to sit and watch it constantly because, to be perfectly honest, if they're changing teams over from offence to defence and vice versa, you're not really going to miss much if you go and get a beer. As long as you're there to watch each play, you can do whatever you want. Yep. The rest of it is people getting ready to go or doing nothing. I mean, Aussie sports, you got 40 minutes each side, and it's pretty much play the whole time, 40 minutes each side. These guys are full-on, never-stop running athletes. I could never do that. Now, if I'd been in the US, I've got the right build.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the slope of the Romeo Head Charlie 7-0 system.
If I was in the
This is your
US,
first
I've got the
visit to the
right
system.
build to maybe do
Friendship,
something along
now
the lines of
engaged.
football.
No
Not
anomaly
necessarily
is detected.
professionally, I'm not that way inclined, but to have fun playing it because it's short bursts of activity rather than full-on continuous. I mean, there are those that move more than
Temperatures
others.
are at an acceptable level.
"33 bodies remain to be scanned here.
But yeah, so anyway, long story short, I'd much rather watch American football on TV, but I don't think I could handle it live.
Planet Bravo tree is interesting, with an
I
extremely
mean,
high
I'd
mass of
love
over
to see an American
651
football
times
game
Earth's and
live
pristine
because
rocky and icy rings.
the crowd, the atmosphere, that sort of thing, I just think it'd be an experience to do once.
This body contains high levels of carbon and selenium.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But then so's Elite Dangerous. I know, bad joke.
Planet Bravo 2 is an interesting Class 1 gas giant with an extremely high mass at over 445 times Earth's and pristine metal-rich and rocky rings. This body contains large deposits of carbon and selenium.
Yeah, see, I can't watch soccer. To spend 2 hours watching these people run around and not actually score a goal, I want something actually happening. That's where Australian rules football, or AFL,
Planet Bravo 1 is a notable Class 2 gas giant with a pristine rocky ring.
the scores in that game can get up over 200 points. But the reason for that is they're actually kicking the ball from one end to the other in less than a
Body
minute
Bravo 1 Alpha
at
contains
times.
high levels of arsenic.
Yeah, that's Test cricket. That's not the sort of cricket that most people watch these days. Most people watch 20-20 games, which is 20 overs each side, played in one day, goes for about 4 to 5 hours for the game to be over and done.
Body Alpha 4 Delta contains high levels of carbon
It's
and
all
selenium.
about big hits, high scores, and lots of
This body
people
has
getting
high
out.
levels of carbon and selenium. This body contains high levels of carbon and selenium.
Yeah, also I used to play AFL, but I didn't really have the build for it because you need to be a
This
little
body
bit
contains large deposits of
lanky,
carbon
and I'm
and
a stocky
selenium.
build person. So my game in Australia
Body
to
Alpha
play
4
would
Echo has high
probably be
levels of
rugby
carbon and
union,
selenium.
potentially rugby league, but more likely rugby union. And I just wasn't interested in those. My computer's playing silly.
Planet Alpha 1 is a notable Class 3 gas giant with a pristine
Yeah,
rocky
pretty
ring.
much. I'm about 5'11". What do I weigh at the moment? About 260 pound roughly.
This body has large deposits
That's
of
about
arsenic.
120 kilo.
Moon Alpha 1 Delta is notable, with an incredibly elliptical orbit. Moon Alpha 1 Echo is a notable rocky body with an incredibly elliptical
My
orbit.
best thing was
This
I could
body
take a
contains
hit.
large deposits of germanium.
Being an army brat when I was a kid, I used to get run into or have run-ins with many kids who just didn't like kids who were from the army.
Planet Alpha 2 is notable, with a pristine metal-rich ring.
So I learnt to take a hit pretty well.
This body contains high levels of carbon. Body Alpha 2 Bravo contains high levels of carbon
Yep.
and selenium. Body Alpha 2 Charlie contains high levels of carbon.
One of my nicknames when I was at school was Sumo because they'd run into me and they couldn't knock me over.
Planet Alpha 5 is an extraordinary icy body with an incredibly
reckon it
high
was
mass at
like
nearly
running
20 and
into
a
a
half
brick
times
wall.
Earth, an extremely high radius of over
That was all the way
17,500
through
kilometers, an extremely high surface
about the
temperature
age
of
of
well over
18.
1,500 Kelvin, and a pristine icy ring.
Then I
Planet
got
Alpha 3
lazy
is a
and went and
notable
did
Class
office
2
work.
gas giant with a pristine rocky ring. This body has large deposits of sulfur, carbon, phosphorus and selenium. Body Alpha Tree Echo has large deposits of carbon. Body Alpha Tree Delta contains high levels of
18
carbon.
I weighed just on 200
This body has large
pounds.
deposits of carbon and selenium. This body has high levels of carbon. This body has large deposits of carbon.
Yep. Oh look, a potato. I love these not quite spherical moons. All the ones with massive features on them. Not very common, but when you find them, they're interesting. See, that's a big crater at the top there. Flattens everything out. But apart from that, it doesn't appear to be anything that jumps out at you. Anyway, next system. Potatoes, bacon and sour cream, or even better, potatoes with a bolognese sauce. And then add the bacon and sour cream. A good chunk of cheese that's
Leaving
melted over the
system.
top.
Top
So
telemetry
long,
obtained.
suckers.
Grey Wanderer 3 is in transit to the Smojo Delta Quebec X-ray Echo 1-0 system. Information, arrival star is not scoopable. This is your first visit to this system.
Hull in.
It's all about combining flavors and textures so that you get the best of everything.
Scanning now.
Just like if I make a bolognese sauce, most of the time I like to chop mushrooms up and throw in it. Maybe grate a little carrot in it. So you don't have to worry about real vegetables to have with it. You just chuck it on your spaghetti and away you go. I'm the savoury cook at home. My wife does the cakes and the sweet stuff. I do the savoury. Except for
You're
jams, I
welcome,
like
Commander.
making jam. We made about 90 jars of jam last week.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is en route to the Smojo Golf-Victor Delta Tree-1 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Maximum velocity.
Okay, well, we made apple and raspberry, apple and blueberry, mango, peach and passion fruit,
Scanning for information.
Strawberry and blueberry, blueberry mango.
10 bodies remain to be scanned.
We like mixing different kinds of non-traditional fruits together, if you like. We did do a mixed berry jam, but we didn't do any plain jams.
91%.
Okay, I don't know what loquat is, but I like jalapenos. See, it's like cilantro. We call cilantro coriander. Same plant, just a different name, because we're in a different part of the world. But it's, if you don't know that the two are the same, it makes following an American recipe a little bit more awkward, because some of the things are a little bit different. It's like basil and oregano, basil and oregano here.
Planet 2 is a notable high metal content world with terraformable conditions.
I made a great chili sauce one time, if I do say so myself, using heritage cherry tomatoes, jalapenos, habaneros, scotch bonnet, and bird's eye chilies, as well as garlic, paprika, and whatever it was that I used to as the background for the sauce. But it was perfectly balanced, because although it had heat, the major component was the flavour. I mean, if you're making a chili sauce, you've got to have heat to it. But if it's just heat, what's the point? You can't really enjoy it.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Smojo Golf-November Charlie 9-0 system.
Yeah,
This
I've
is your
tried
Hull
first
a couple
visit
of
to this
integrity
system.
is within limits. All other systems are at normal levels.
Fuel reserves now at 85%. Commander.
Confirming
Excuse
exit
me.
point scanning for telemetry. information. Stand by.
Four out of 8 bodies have been scanned.
One of my favourite things to make is a beef lasagna. You take half a kilo of ground beef, or mince as we like to call it, 250 grams So it'd be about a pound of ground beef, half a pound of bacon, 2 400 mils, what would that be? A pint 600, so 2/3 of a pint, whatever that would be in in ounces, tin, 12 ounce roughly, I think. Yeah, 2 12-ounce tins of diced tomatoes, some garlic and Italian herbs. Slow cook that, so it's cooked at just below boiling point for about 6 to 8 hours, and that's your lasagna sauce. And then I make a bechamel sauce, which is basically milk, butter, parmesan cheese, and a little bit of corn flour to thicken it. Combined with the lasagna sheets, a mixture of mozzarella, parmesan, and cheddar cheese on each layer, and then finishing it off with cheddar cheese on top. And chuck it in the oven at about 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius, and today you got yourself a lasagna. Anyway, I shall return momentarily. I've got to go and grab a drink, etc. I won't be long. I better, pardon me, Alt-Tab. Cross and just disable the mic. I will be back shortly. And I'm back, sorry about that. Had to grab a drink.
Planet Charlie Delta 1 is notable, with terraformable conditions. This body contains high levels of manganese, zinc and vanadium. Planet Charlie Delta 2 is a notable high metal content world with terraformable conditions. Bodies Charlie Delta 1 and Charlie Delta 2 are recommended candidates to map.
Why not? Let's map this system. It's only small. Never know, there might be something interesting. Yeah, well, see, we used Imperial up until, I believe it was 1966. It was when we did the final switch across to decimal. And I wasn't born till 72, so I basically grew up with the decimal system. But I still know what a pint is a gallon, because a gallon is 4.4 litres, or roughly 4.5 litres. So, our petrol here in the local area at the moment, or gas, petroleum, for the car is about $7 to the gallon at the moment. Is that right? Yeah, about $7 a gallon at the moment. Oh, hang on, no. We're going to do the Aussie dollar to American dollar. So it'd be about $5.50 a gallon, roughly. Anyway, back to Elite Dangerous. Any questions? Alright, time to enact lazy mode. cruise assist is that way if I want to grab a drink or whatever. I don't have to worry about bumping the mouse quite so much. And you still got to keep an eye on things, because otherwise Super Cruise Assist will put me in orbit around the planet, and I really don't want to go into orbit. So I've got to be prepared to turn it off. And about 10 light second light.
Galaxy Grok is now online.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Commander.
Six probes, so that should be fine. On to the next one.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan.
Mapping is finished. Efficiency bonus awarded. Odyssey D1 is a low-gravity tidally locked high-metal content world that is unsuitable for landing. Body Charlie Delta 2 is also a good candidate for mapping.
I'm going to skim pretty close to the star on this one, but not actually hit it. At least that's the plan. And this course D1 is closer. Sorry, D is closer. Then we've got to skim past the star, if however it's further away, we avoid that issue. Star number 1 gone. Star number 2 about to be gone. Super Cruise Assist off. See you later, Warlord. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, one probe. So all I've got to do is hit it.
Surface scanned by
12 geological surface signals detected.
surface scan complete.
Surface map is finished. Efficiency bonus granted. Body D1 is a low-gravity tidal locked metal-rich body that is suitable for landing. This planet shows signs of volcanism, with high levels of active iron magma flows. Body Charlie Delta 2 is also a good candidate to map.
Got to have a look. 127 kilometers a second. Make that 131. And I've matched speed with the planet. So I'm now orbiting the star at the same speed as the planet is. Time to play catch up.
Orbital flight engaged.
That's what we want. On the edge. See, once we're in the gravity well of the planet, we don't have to worry about matching speed with the star anymore. Sorry, matching speed with the planet anymore because we're now in its gravity well. Oh, not good, mate. And far too many of those here lately too.
Grey Wanderer 3 has left Supercruise near planet Smocher Papa India November Charlie 9 0 Delta 1. Glide mode engaged. Smocher Papa India November Charlie 9 0 Delta 1 is a low gravity world at 0.06 G.
25. There we go. And in we go.
Glide completed. Fighter deploying.
Initiated.
these canyons. Just fly really low.
Hull is at 80%.
Ooh, canyon. It's a little bit of a dip. I wouldn't call it a canyon though. Right. Enough sillies.
Fighter retrieval sequence initiated. Fighter docking sequence initiated.
Fighter docked.
Right, let's take the other one out for a spin.
Fighter deploying from mothership.
Initiated.
Yeah, this one is a little bit quicker.
Neural link terminated.
Oops. And also nowhere near as tough.
Fighter assembly initiated. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Entered Super Cruise.
CD2, here we come. Look at the size of that crater.
Left Super Cruise close to planet Smoja Papa India November Charlie 9 0 Delta 1. Glide initiated. Smoja Papa India November Charlie 9 0 Delta 1 is a low gravity world at 0.06 G. Flight completed.
Landing gear deployed.
We'll land just on the border of the sun.
Touchdown on Smojifa Park India-November Charlie 9-0 Delta 1. Coordinates are minus 83.29 degrees latitude, minus 82.60 degrees longitude. Buggy launched. I wondered why I was constipated. SRV standing by for recovery.
Gravity warning.
integrity is at 80%. Grey Wanderer 3 has lifted off.
Whee.
Warning, hull at 59%.
We've got another rust stuff again.
Danger, hull integrity is at 39%.
So I'm looking to see what's in the acro. I think I'm full on that. No, maybe. No.
Okay.
I want to climb this mountain. I don't know why, I just do.
Synthesis complete. Synthesis complete.
Oh, she's struggling. Come on, you can do it, Gertie. So close. Oh. going downhill from here. Oh, we are so close. There's the sun. Going down. And do I go to sunlit side? Or do I go to sun? So it's flatter. Alright, here we go.
Structural integrity at 80%.
Alrighty, trying to recall the ship and get out of here.
Twelve geological surface signals detected.
Oh, there you are.
Grey Wanderer 3 has touched down on Smoja Kapali DR-November Charlie 9-0 Delta 1.
that? Damn, this ship is fun to drive.
SRV standing by for recovery.
Thanks. Recover ship. No. Recover SRV. Board ship.
Transitioning to ship. Okay, executing now. Stand by. Stand by, just looking for the button. Securing the ship. Securing the ship. Strapping down
Grey
the wine
Wanderer
and
3 has
what's
lifted
it?
off.
Recall ship.
Recalling the ship. No, where did I put it?
12
Off.
geological surface signals detected.
Received. Coordinates set. Initiating landing protocols.
Warning, integrity at 54%. Grey Wanderer 3 has touched down on Smoja Kapali DR-November Charlie 9-0 Delta 1.
Okay, let's see if she can do it right this time.
SRV standing by for recovery.
Surface recovery and launch, please.
Okay, executing now.
Welcome back. The toilet is blocked. There's a plunger in the cupboard.
Stand by for launch.
Lift off.
Ignition.
Clear the area and jump.
Ascending. Orbital rendezvous boost activated. Initiated. Engaging supercruise. Engaging cruise.
Engage FSD.
Frameshift drive engaged.
And away we go.
Destination confirmed. Grey Wanderer 3 is traveling to the Smoker Romeo Delta November Charlie 9-0 system.
Frameshift
This is
now
your first visit
engaged.
to this system.
No anomalies detected, though there is a strange smell coming from the engine room. Temperatures are... Completing system
This
scan.
is usable
Stand by.
relative to similar
Gathering
classified
information.
sites with an unusual high
Cartography
solar
has now been
radiance of
updated.
0.7 times sols. As you can see, it emits an orange-red light.
Deploy heatsink.
Deploying.
Grey Wanderer 3 is now fully refueled.
Engage FSD.
Frameshift activated. Off.
Lights on.
Jump in progress. Grey Wanderer 3 is heading to the Smoker Zulu Papa Juliet Charlie 11-0 system. This is your first visit to this system.
Key systems are at optimum levels.
3/4 impulse.
Scanning now.
Three out of 4 bodies have been scanned.
3/4 impulse.
3/4 impulse.
Engage FSD.
Frameshift active.
Telemetry obtained. Grey Wanderer 3 is in transit to the Smoker Delta Whiskey Hotel Charlie 12-0 system. This is your first visit to this system. Success at 91%, Commander.
Gathering information. Cartography updated.
2 out of 18 bodies have been scanned. Fuel at maximum.
Warning, temperature critical.
Planet Alpha 2 is notable, with a crystalline icy ring. Body Alpha 2 Delta has high levels of carbon and selenium. Body Alpha 2 Alpha contains large deposits of carbon. This body contains high levels of carbon and selenium. This body has high levels of carbon and selenium. This body has large deposits of sulfur and carbon. Planet Alpha 1 is notable, with crystalline metallic and rocky rings. Body Alpha 1 Alpha contains large deposits of germanium and tellurium. Body Alpha 1 Bravo contains high levels of germanium. Planet Alpha 3 is a notable gas giant with ammonia-based life with a crystalline icy ring. Body Alpha 3 Bravo has high levels of carbon. This body has large deposits of carbon and selenium.
System scan.
This body has large deposits of carbon and selenium.
Alrighty, I think that might do me for this evening. Thank you very much for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I stuffed around a bit, but hey. I will most likely be streaming again tomorrow, which is about between 8 and 10 hours from now. So approximately 8 PM server time. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, depends on how I wake up tomorrow morning. Fly safe, fly dangerously, and I hope you enjoyed the fireworks. See you later.